In today's video, we will be focusing on my progress with the hangar diorama I've been building off and on for the past month. I didn't want to just build my kits and call it a day, because how they are displayed is even more important for me. So that's where this light up hangar diorama that you see me sketching in the background comes in. Using insulation foam, I start working on the individual docking floors using my HG by L for size adjustments. I use a combination of foam boards, chipboards, and plastic mesh to create this middle panel to add depth and make it look like it can actually be raised up and down. I imagine these to be like those holes underneath cars where mechanics can work on the automotive's underside. Basically the same concept. If you're wondering what this grating stuff is, all I know is that they are used for stitching. I bought a nice pack of them off Amazon. It feels so good when your cuts end up so accurate, especially after some fails. You see me cutting multiple pieces for this part. That's because I needed to sandwich these materials to match the thickness of the insulation foam. Now, after completing this first mid-platform, I create 2 more duplicates out of it for a total of 3 docks and just use PVA to glue them together. I won't be gluing the granny grating just yet because I'm not really sold on that part yet at this time. Next, I use some more plastic mesh in between each dock to create these sort of gutters. I cut some of the gratings in between to make each spacing longer. I suppose important cabling and pipes would go under them. Speaking of which, I initially planned to use these toy pipes, but will change my mind somewhere down the progression of the build. In fact, as you will see later on, I will make stuff up as I go and move away from the original concept. Here, you see me use some Q-tips that would be the smaller piping that runs below the gutters, and I cut some more chipboards to section it out. I use super glue for the pipe groupings as well as on the granny grating, which is very hard to stick to. After gluing the docks to the main board, here's what we have so far. I set the flooring aside for now and move to the walls. We'll quickly go through this part here where I wasted some time building to ultimately scrap it. I just didn't like how it went. We're venturing to make stuff up as you go at this point. Now this is more like it. Let's make more copies of these. I start by cutting foam in the shape of what would be our sectional columns. I divide the column equally by using my knife and cutting ever so slightly. I don't want to cut it, I just want to engrave it into sections, and by using my pencil to make it deeper and more pronounced. Next, using the same shape and length, I cut some chipboards that will help create the steel girder shape. I cut a few of them for each column, and I actually used 2 pieces of each to make it sturdier and thicker before using PVA glue to stick it to each foam column. I leave them for a few hours and put something heavy on them while they cured and retain the straightness. I switch my attention to the vents and mid sections. Again, I start by cutting the main foam shape, and for the vent half, I also cut the holes where the vents will go. I then cut some more chipboards to create each vent flap, as well as the vent housing where they will go into. I just used my trusty PVA to glue them together. This part took a lot of time, but the end product was worth it. I use even more chipboards to create these protruding shapes in each column to make it more dynamic and less plain looking. That's more gluing at this stage. Next, I use foam board to put more detail onto these wall sections. I also cut some paper straws that will serve as the larger pipings that you can see in the middle of the piece. I use some packaging tape around the straws to hide the ugly diagonal swirls. And I insert some foam on either ends to give more surface area to put glue on. Perfect. This is still a work in progress, and unfortunately the work I can do on it depends on how much free time I get in between work and family. I'm not sure how I'll cut the next video, but it should include the rest of the wall sections like the support beams and girders, as well as the LED lighting and the mechanical parts I'd like to add on it. It's been a very fun experience so far, and I can't wait to start putting some of my finished kits in the finished display. Thanks again for joining me on this video. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I hope to see you next time. Cheers!